Those of you who are interested in taking a formal course on awakening, enlightenment, and healing and spirituality, my teacher, Aratima, she offers an online course, an official course called the Wisdom Live School. So make sure you check out her website if you are interested in taking some sort of formal training, and it's at aratima.com. And those of you who aren't familiar with Aratima, I did write a book about my experiences with her called Awakening with Aratima. So make sure you check that out. That's how my whole spiritual journey began many years ago.
Get mantra and meditation MP3s at JasonGallant.ca.
Today I want to talk to you about bringing everything back to this moment. Most people like to dwell on the future, dwell on the past. We all know of the book, The Power of Now. And really what this is, in essence, when you bring everything back to this moment, is that you are disempowering the mind. The mind comes up with all sorts of ideas. I mean, all sorts of things. It's like a laundry list, really. I mean, should I be afraid of this? Should I be worried about that? What will happen tomorrow? Something happened in the past, so that means this thing here means something else is going to happen tomorrow. It makes all these false leaps of logic. The mind always thinks it understands things, but really what the mind does, it distracts you from truth. It distracts you from here. It distracts you from just being here without comment. Now forget about all the games that you play in survival. Forget about life for a moment, the external expression of life. Just come back here. You have to reset, see? But so many people, when I talk to them about this, they're like, oh no, but what about this? What about this? Again, that's the mind again, coming up with questions, coming up with reasons to deny here, to deny right now. What's the point of living your life if you never enjoy any moment? You never are in any moment because you're always looking for some other moment. That's a form of delusion. And unfortunately, most of us live in a certain level of delusion most of the time. We are living in a story of a bunch of events that haven't even happened yet, but we're assuming they're going to happen, and we're living that trauma over and over again, rather than the gentleness and the beauty and the freedom that is here. Doesn't seem like the most intelligent thing to do, right? But it's because people believe the impulses of emotion within them. We're in this age right now where nobody wants to feel anything. And now we've become, as a society, part of the grand enablers. Like, oh, you don't want to feel anything? Oh, good. We'll make sure we don't say anything that makes you feel anything. The truth will set you free, but not if it hurts your feelings. Nobody wants the truth. Deep within, they really want the truth. They just don't know it. Because the truth is just here. It's just reality right here. It's just right back in this moment. And whether it's a cold bucket of water that takes you right back to this moment, or whether it is a gentle word of kindness, it doesn't matter how you get here, but here is where you belong. Life is the grandest teacher. So many times you're living in your idea, living in a dream, living in a story, and then bang, something comes out of nowhere and just hits you with reality, and then you're here, really alive. Everything takes you back to here at some point. Some people are in denial of here because they have not seen the advantage of it yet. At first, here has a bunch of stuff. Perhaps there's pain, perhaps there's sensations that you're not necessarily familiar with, so automatically they're uncomfortable because you're not familiar with them. But once you embrace here, that absolutely disempowers the mind, and then freedom is the result. There's this expensive freedom that is here that cannot be found in the mind. It cannot be found in a dream. And it's only scary because you have not experienced it yet. Because you've been so busy in the dream, anything other than the dream seems like a scary monster. But if you find yourself dwelling a lot, if you find yourself dwelling about the future, dwelling about the past, that is a sure sign that you are in the mind. Somebody asked me about hell and heaven and what's going to happen in the afterlife. Ask yourself, why are you asking this question? Because you have been trained into fear. You believe the fear. The fear is driving the question. The worry. Once you are free from the story and you're truly here and realize that the sensation of worry is not telling you the truth, then freedom emerges. Your immortality. The knowledge that nothing can constrain you. It is only you who is constraining you. It's you who are passing judgment upon yourself, which is causing the suffering. You can use your mind to create a prison, or you can use your mind to free you from the prison. Using the mind to free you from the mind. And then at some point you realize that the mind is nothing more than a toy or a tool to use when is necessary. But it is not the source of your fulfillment. You cannot think yourself into bliss. You possibly can tell yourself a story so that you stop thinking and then you experience bliss. But thinking is not the source of bliss. So if you're caught in a story, caught in worry, caught in suffering, realize that you're living in another dimension, but you're not living here. Come back home. Home is here. It's now. Thoughts don't need to be here. They can, but they don't have to be. Here is here regardless of what you think about it. Now will always exist. And I say will because I'm sure your mind is already leaping to the next moment. But now always exists. Now has always been with you. When in your life has now not been here? Right? I mean, no one can say that now, oh, now left me a while ago. There was no now. So now is showing you a certain level of unconditional love. Now always shows up. No matter where you are, now is right there with you. Here I am. I'm right here with you, Mr. or Mrs. Now. Now is your best friend, always showing up. So wouldn't it be just polite to pay attention to now once in a while? It's kind of like showing up to somebody's birthday party, their anniversaries, you go to their house, you mow their lawn, you do all this stuff for them, and then they don't pay attention to you. You'd be kind of offended after a while, right? But there's now always showing up no matter what you think, no matter what you're doing. So spend more time paying attention to now. Have gratitude towards now. And this gratitude towards now, this attention, this awareness that you turn towards now will pay big dividends. It'll free you from all your problems. And yes, in the end, it can be very practical because guess what? If you have a problem, now is where they are. Now is where you need to take action. Now is where you decide what to do, through first expanding your awareness and then becoming aware of what is before you. You can't do this by living in a dream or a delusion. Now it's pretty pleasant. There's these beautiful leaves just coming down. You can hear the sound of them just hitting the other leaves. The wind just flows through at some point. It's the great thing about living in now, because you realize now it's always talking to you. There's always some conversation that's happening. And some of them are quite subtle. But when the mind just quiets just a little bit, you become aware of this other conversation. The energy that is involved in everything that is happening in any one moment. This awareness will save you. No matter how many people in the world are in denial of now, you don't have to be. I hope this helps you on your spiritual journey. Take care for now.